Welcome to Sysrev Analytics. I'm going to be walking you through how the analytics workflow works on Sysrev. Analytics is a pro account only service, but I'll be walking you through a public demo of that service. So here you can see we're on a public project called the Mangiferin Data Extraction Project. This is a Sysrev for extracting information about Mangiferin from medical abstracts. If I click on Analytics, you can see two workflows pop up, Concordance and Labels. We're going to be talking about Concordance today. Labels is still a work in progress. You can also see that this is an analytics demo. If you want to access analytics on your own personal projects, you have to register for Sysrev Pro or be part of a team account. Only project administrators can access the analytics page. That's something we may change in the future, but for now, only the administrators will be able to see Concordance and other analytics on their project. So I'm going to walk you through how Concordance works now, just step by step. At the top level, you can see that this project has a concordance of 94%. That value is calculated off of the total concordance of all the labels for the project. So just to review what that means, if I go to step 1, label difficulty, you can see that there are 2 bars here. And that means that this project has 2 Boolean labels. Concordance is only calculated on the Boolean true-false labels in a project. In future versions, we may release concordance for categorical labels as well. But the thing to notice is that these are both counts. So if I look at include, you can see that 106 articles are concordant for the label include and 10 are discordant. So 116 articles have had 2 or more reviewers for the include label. Excuse me. And of those 116 articles, all of the reviewers agreed on the answer to the include label on 106 articles, and on 10 articles, there was at least one reviewer who disagreed with all the other reviewers. And so that gives you an idea very quickly. You can eyeball here which Boolean labels you expect to be good labels or bad labels. So if we look at positive effect, you can see 67 total articles have had at least 2 reviewers reviewed those articles, and there's only one article that had a disagreement. We can switch the label difficulty chart over to percent. This gives you a quick idea of which labels are performing the best, independent of the number of articles that have been reviewed for that label. After we've sort of evaluated which labels we think are difficult or easy, our next step is to actually determine which users are performing the best on those labels. So if I go to step 2, I can click include, select a label, and I'll see exactly which users reviewed the include label and how many articles they reviewed for the include label. Again, these counts are only for articles that have been reviewed twice, but you can see here at the top that M. Dongying has reviewed almost 110 articles, looks like 109 articles. She's concordant on 99 of them and discordant on 10 of them. That means that 99 articles that M. Dongying reviewed had at least one other reviewer, and all of the reviewers for those articles agreed on the answer for include. 10 of the articles she reviewed had at least one other reviewer, and at least one reviewer was discordant with the remaining reviewers, so had a different answer than some of the other reviewers. So you can see that M. Dongying has reviewed the most articles. That's somewhat useful. And then you can switch this chart to percent as well and get a quick snapshot of which users are having the greatest percent concordance. You can see M. Dongying does pretty well, but actually RFA Aliani is doing a little bit better. But on the other hand, M. Dongying has completed many more articles. So it's always possible that you prefer a reviewer who's completing more articles, even if their concordance levels are down a little bit. And it's also relevant to point out that just because the user has a high discordance rate doesn't mean they're a bad reviewer. It could be that the reviewers who have reviewed the same articles are not good. So it could be someone else's fault that there's discordance on the articles that Dongying has reviewed. You can see I can switch this to positive effect. There's only one discordant article there, and you can see that that discordant article was one that M. Dongying labeled and also CLM Albin labeled. If I scroll down to step 3, I can look at individual labels and I can compare users to a specific user who labeled those articles. M. Dongying is a really good example here because she's done the bulk of the labeling of this project. So if I select her, I can see how other users performed when they were labeling the same articles as M. Dongying. Step 3 can be really useful if you have like a trusted reviewer or someone who has expertise on the articles that you're trying to review, you can compare reviewers to that reviewer, and you can say, okay, I trust this reviewer. So if someone is discordant with my trusted reviewer, they're probably making a mistake. So for the sake of argument, we might say that we trust M. Dong-Ying very much to do a good job on this project. And if we see discordances, we might wonder if there's a problem here. Now, overall, the discordance rate in this project is relatively low, but we can see at a glance that RFA Aliani has reviewed the most articles with M. Dong-Ying, and HJH Jess has reviewed quite a few articles as well, has a few discordant articles with M. Dong-Ying on the label include, and so on. If I select a different user, here you can see I'm looking at RFA Aliani, and there's only one other reviewer who's ever reviewed articles with RFA Aliani. This goes to show that you really should encourage your reviewers to try to review at similar rates. Because M. Dong-Ying has reviewed so many articles, it's likely that other reviewers will overlap with her. And also, in this project, different reviewers came in at different times, and so that overlap with M. Dong-Ying becomes quite prevalent. All this means is that the only reviewer who has double reviewed articles with RFA Aliani for the include label is M. Dong-Ying. So I look at some other users. If I go to HJS, you see once again, her only paired reviewer is M. Dong-Ying, and so on. TJ has actually reviewed a few articles with me. I'm tluct1, and you can see he also reviewed some articles with M. Dong-Ying, and all of them were actually discordant. Okay, that's the basic analytics workflow. If you want to play with it yourself, there's a link in the description. And please let us know if you have any feedback. If you go to the blog, there's a form there that will allow you to provide some feedback to us. We want to know what kind of analytics workflows you'd like to see next, and ways that you might try to improve the concordance workflow. Okay, thanks.